I grew up, people always commenting on my skin color. People saying to my mother, where did you find her? Because I'm the darkest shade of my family. The darker you are, the more you experience of discrimination against your skin color. The lighter you are from these communities, the more beautiful you are. As a result of that, you will see people using skin lighting products, buying skin lighting products to change their skin color because of they want to fit in.
We're going to talk about topic, things we don't really talk about very often. And our guest is really been working on this for years, she started with skin whitening every brown person, black, and then try to keep up with modeling what the media, what the advertisement industry been telling them. You should be looking, fair skin and lighter skin, and where the Americans spend billions of dollars on tanning and try to darken their skin a little bit. The people in Africa and Somalia will talk about that because our guest today, really focusing on what's happening in the Somali community and the products they bring home. It's almost illegal and not approved by the health department and FDA, and the problem they have, not just culture and the fact that culture appreciation, the fact that the dominant narrative that you should be looking fair skin and whiter, and you've been working with. As I understood, and I have you on the show a few times, you've been working on skin whitening and the issue that is facing, find it in the Somali community, and people, using product that are not really safe or bring it home, and you were focusing on the education component of it and the danger of using this product. And let's start with that, and then we'll go to now you are moving into really to hold the beauty industry, the cosmetic industry accountable of really pushing this product on vulnerable community and vulnerable people.
Thanks, Ahmed, for having me again. I know that we spoke several years ago. I think, was it like 2017 or 2016? That was several years ago.
Before COVID, let's put it that way.
Way before COVID, yes.
Okay.
So with the skin lighting issue, it's a deeply rooted of colorism, which is skin color discrimination, and that the issue of skin color discrimination happens within groups and outside groups, meaning that people who share the same skin color as you, same ethnicity, can discriminate you based on skin color. Like if they come from your culture, they can also discriminate you based on your skin color, but also outside group that can discriminate you, based on your skin color. And so it became a huge global issue where many communities of color, regardless of where they live globally, use skin lighting products by way of really changing their skin color to meet the standard, the beauty standard that's out there, which is very centered around whiteness. The idea of if you're white, you're beautiful. The idea of if you're white, your economic well-being depends on. So that concept was introduced globally through slavery, whether through colonizations. And so those countries that went through colonizations, colorism became so much embedded in their cultures. And so what we're seeing is that now the result of that, even when the colonizers left, you have this whole cultural thing, colorism being embedded in these cultures, and then society accepts this lighter skin as being beautiful. And so then as a result of that, you have many women, older, young using skin lighting products, but also now some men lately starting to use skin lighting products. And so it's a huge issue that's impacting globally with Beautywell project, the nonprofit that I run in US-based nonprofit, but we also operate globally to help and train global governments and communities to really address this issue. And our work, it's a very intersectional work, the intersections of environmental health, public health, and community development, educating communities, healing communities about this issue, and then also testing products, using community-based research, community intelligence to collect products from communities, from local businesses, to test products, and then also post on our database. We have a database where we post these products after we test. We have also Knowledge Hub where people, when they see products that contain these toxic chemicals, they can go to our website, the Knowledge Hub. They can learn how to address mercury, how to address hydroquinone, how to address steroid-based exposure. And so developing that and actually providing to communities so that they access this community-based science, so that eventually they stop using these products. We also have youth program that actually we have been doing last 7 years, the Young Women's Wellness and Leadership Initiative, which is a really intersectional curriculum, like leadership development, self-esteem, and wellness development, but also advocacy. How do we train these young people advocacy? And then how do we make sure that we match them with women who are professionals, who can mentor them so that they can see and do things beyond worrying about their skin color and how they look like. We also have, like community healing sessions. We work with businesses, especially salons, to create better environment and an environment that is zero pollution to salons. And so our work, and then also we do a lot of advocacy, state, federal, and global advocacy to really address these chemicals in skin lining products, but also all beauty products, because right now what we work on is that how do we create environment that, like communities don't have to use toxic beauty products. How do we make sure that whether it's a hair product, whether it's a nail product, is that they have alternative products that they can use instead of using toxic beauty products. But when it comes to skin lighting products, we don't actually recommend any alternative, because skin lighting is deeply rooted of colorism, and we don't want anybody to be changing their skin color. So to give you generally, these are the work that we do through Beautywell.
This is wonderful. My goodness, you throw at me a lot of issues in a lot of. Well, I mean, let's talk about. It's not. It's not just the skin. I mean, it is a mindset. It is, as you alluded to, it's a power. It's if you light our skin and white skin, you're more likely to get a job. You're more likely to have a relationship. You're more likely to be accepted in a community. But talk a little bit about within the community. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Ahmed, earlier, when the colonizers and the slavery ended, some of the things that was inherited was the colorism, the notion that if you're dark or brown, you're not beautiful. Your economic well-being depends on, like, your skin color. So that becomes so much embedded in cultures. So if I give you example, because we do work with global countries, and these countries have different cultures, and also in the US we have global cultures. And so some of these cultures, so if I give you example, some of the Asian cultures, there's certain Asian countries and cultures that if like if you're darker, you are associated more with lower class, lower middle class, lower class actually, because of you're doing labor jobs, and as a result of labor jobs, you are darker because of that. And so that is a huge part of the culture where people, individuals are using skin lighting products because of they want to look like they're in middle class, they're, higher class. And so that really associates more both with beauty standards, but also economic well-being. Similar to Africa, in African, most of African countries, a lot of women, when they're lighter, the cultural understanding is that, they're easy for them to access to jobs, easy for them to, like eventually get into relationship and marry. And so we have, parents that are even encouraging young girls to lighten their skin very young age. Through my research in East Africa, I see as young as 12-year-old, 11-year-old using skin lighting products. Because of that is a cultural that they're learning from their homes, like from their parents. And so it became cultural norm for women to use. And so mothers to make comments like, who will marry you? Like, so you need to start using these products very young age. And so you have communities that highly encourage the use of these products. And so if I move to Latin America, in the US, we have, like communities from Latin America. Whenever I interview these communities, they even go beyond beauty standard. They talk about economic access, not only economic access, political access. So, like in Latin America, some countries believe, and cultures believe that if you are light skin, you more deserving to access to political privilege. Running for an office, holding for political office. And so if you're darker, that actually limits your opportunity. And so sometimes some people change their skin color to really attain, opportunities that otherwise they can't access. And so this whole use of these toxic products it became, so much, a cultural thing and societal acceptance, but also something that the societies, no matter where they are, promote. And then also you have in the US, young people experiencing colorism bullying in schools. And so that's also one of the reasons that we build young people so that we build their self-esteem, and so that when they experience some of these bullying, that they can, like know how to deal with and how to internally process that. What does that mean and all of that. So it's a very, issue that is culturally embedded, the issue of the use of skin lighting products. But also the reason that we go after industry is that these industries are capitalizing, this vulnerability of communities. And so they're making a lot of money out of really creating this huge global public health crisis, and this is issue that's impacting almost every country globally.
And growing up in Egypt, in my village, when we used to brag by being darker. We used to have song Asmar Yasmarani, is the smarar is half the beauty. So it has a positive
Yeah.
connotation of being darker until those ideas of that you see in TV and social media and movies, and now we are cheering for white and we are against the native, and we when we are cheering for John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, and again is the native, because, and when we came here, we found out we are the natives. We're not the white.
I mean, it's a huge cultural issue where society accepts this. I can give you example. Some of the women that we work with, through our education, whether it's in the US or globally, especially my research in East Africa, women talk about, sometimes their husbands encourage, their husbands ask them to use some of them they're fearful of, like if they stop using this product is that their husband might leave them, and it's the hardest thing somebody to leave, like that is the hardest thing.
For a
uh,
woman,
yeah, for
I
women
see.
to go through that actually internally impacts their health outcome, and that just worrying increases their stress level, and the return, increases their health, like for chances for them to develop chronic diseases and all of that. So there's that, like societal pressure, the individual to look certain way. People comment on your skin all the time,
It's visual,
visual, yeah. So when
public.
somebody runs into you, we're human, like every day, we might look different, like, and then the one thing that actually everybody talks about and worries about is that how will somebody else comment on their skin color? Some cultures, when people see you, they will say, "Oh my God, what happened to you? You are darker, these days, And then, like, even when they go to celebration ceremonies like weddings and other spaces, women tend to use even more these products as they get prepared, like preparing for these celebration ceremonies so that others don't talk about them, so that they look more lighter, and more, they feel more acceptance if they
Mhm.
use more skin lighting products for them to be more lighter. Both the women that's getting married, but also those that are attending, in these celebrations, similar to Eid celebrations, people get ready for these spaces to make sure that they feel acceptance. So to answer your question, there's that general cultural pressure in all of these cultures that promote colorism, but also within the families, as I mentioned earlier, colorism, it's a skin color discrimination that can happen within groups. So
Mhm.
individuals that are, like same family member as you, same ethnicity as you, can discriminate you based on skin color. And so that is also a pressure that women have to also meet all the time, these products, but to use these products. But then you have industry that's capitalizing that. A lot of time is with my work and with Beautywell's, like with Beautywell's approach and mission is that we don't blame these individuals that use skin lighting. It's a societal pressure, and so we're there to help their journey to learn about how toxic these products are, what they can do to stop it, but also making sure that we have multiple approaches in addressing this issue. We have to work with the regulatory agencies. We have to make sure that we research how this industry is capitalizing this. To give you example, now we're Beautywell, we're working on global documentary. And so we now finished filming East Africa. And so during the filming, like we learn about, like even in rural areas through my research, I learn, like how skin lighting products are available in rural corner stores, but very limited food access. And so so these industry is literally capitalizing that, and that is also some of the things that we want to highlight in the documentary. The documentary is not only the trade but also the regulatory gap, the cultural issue. How is this impacting, like the health of all of these women, whether they're young or older, but also impacting community-wide because some of these toxics like mercury will end up in the environment. And
Yeah.
so as a result, it impacts by default everybody. And so it's a huge issue that we decided also to highlight in a global documentary level.
This is great, and we'll end that. I know you're busy. Is the new generation like immigrants? I know the first generation act want to adapt, assimilate. Second generation confused between the past and future and try to navigate that. And the third generation maybe just a mainstream. Do you see any variation, any difference in the new generation in the community?
Yeah, so there are differences and there are similarities. The new generation, there are ones that continue in using. So this is because of the parents are encouraging. And so this is why we have the Young Women's Wellness and Leadership Initiative to really interrupt the cycle, for them to understand this is very toxic. And so far we have graduated more than 200 young women. And some of them actually now graduated from college. Some are in college, and they are actually working with young people to really address that mindset of that you don't have to do what your mom used to do and your aunts used to do in order, like for you to look certain way. You don't have to use skin lighting products. But they're also, also like becoming the future, training us to train them to become the future leaders so that this cycle of dislike for their skin color to end. But there are also this influence in social media right now. So
Hmm.
even if they're not, the young people are not using skin lighting, there are some that are attempting to use filters, social media filters, like,
Oh, yeah.
uh, so this is
Green eyes and white for
yeah, so that is still promoting colorism because that is still showing that your body image, you're not still happy with your body image. So some of the things that we see is that some young people, young generation is still struggle with body image, whether it's skin color, but they're not extreme as like the older generation. And so that's also where we're there to help them, the mentor, but also create social media campaigns. So now we have youth-led campaign to really highlight some of these underlying issues. And then also, Ahmed, the issue of beauty standard and beauty products, it's not only limited to skin lighting. So you
yeah.
have all of these beauty products, whether it's a body scrub that has been created, it's a very toxic. So now, like even the Observer journalism company covered this story end of May, and we were featured in that story. So as I have been doing, our documentary, one of the things that I learned is that in East Africa, when women use skin lighting products, their face becomes very thin. And so in order for them to have, to gain a little bit weight, they start using steroid-based weight gain pills. And so, like now, you have combined steroid-based creams of skin lighting, and then also using steroid-based weight gain pills, which increases the risk of developing multiple health issues, including Cushing syndrome. And so you have multiple
What kind
health.
of a syndrome is this?
Cushing syndrome, it's caused by overusage of steroids
Oh, I see.
and increased steroids level in our body, which is the illness that needs
Hmm.
to be treated. So you have this huge toxic beauty standard, which leads to individuals practicing toxic beauty products that have multiple chemicals like heavy metals. And so some of the, now we work with salons, and so some of the products we test our hair products whether it's shampoo or hair color or henna that contain high levels of mercury or lead, like
Even
yeah,
henna is a natural
henna.
product.
Yeah, some henna is natural, but also some henna are manufactured and
I see.
contain
I
heavy
see.
metals. And so that's also information that, we're sharing with communities and continuously to test products.
Are you gonna watch the World Cup, the beautiful game that is becoming ugly now? It's World Cup in America where they are arresting foreigners
Yeah.
and banning visa to player and referees. So the
Mhm.
beautiful game, which is football, they even don't call it football; they call it soccer, and it
Yeah.
started today. Are you into
Yeah.
this beautiful game, and or they need some cosmetic products to improve their images?
Oh my God, Ahmed.
How you feel
We,
about
we
this?
we still have to watch and support the teams that are playing. Let's put political aside. Soccer
You
it's
can't
a
when you
game
have.
that brings everybody together, and eventually this whole politics will end.
Well,
But
they
yes,
sent
I
they.
I will watch some games as I get time.
I
I
know
might
that.
even visit to some states to watch some of these games live.
I know Somalia didn't make it to the World Cup, but one of the referee,
Yeah,
the best referee in Africa, was denied a visa, was sent
yeah,
home.
yeah. Very sad, Omar,
Yeah.
and I wish him the best. And he's a really young guy, and he has so much great future ahead. And so one time, missed opportunity,
Yeah.
like he has like his whole life ahead of him. So I also see this really positive side that he will really do great. He has other World Cups to come, other games to come, other opportunities to come, whether it's a learning or jobs. And so I wish him the best, and he will do really great.
And I think you're right. He when
Yeah.
they sent him back, but he was welcomed like he has a hero welcome.
Yes,
It's
yes,
becoming
in
it's
Mogadishu,
the
yes.
best career move now. It's denying,
Absolutely.
not
And the
playing
whole
him.
the whole international media is talking about him.
Yeah.
So I think he will, he will get many opportunities, and he's a very young person. So you see, Ahmed, young people, any opportunities that's missed, it's a learning process. You learn it. Yeah.
Amira is Executive Director, Researcher, and Global Policy Strategist and founder of Beauty Well. And we wish her well. She talked about the issue of skin whitening around the world and the global challenge that is facing. And good luck.